Okay, aloha, and I'm Michaelle Edwards, and I created FitAlign and YogAlign, and these are methods designed to rewire your posture at the nervous system level, because posture is automatic. Nobody decides to tilt their head forward or make their hips crooked or round their shoulders. You don't consciously get up in the morning to do that. And so what this program is about is using breathing, which normally happens automatically. We don't have to tell our body to breathe. And so we use breathing to affect the subconscious and be able to kind of hack into the part of the brain that controls your posture. And we can call it the biointelligence. The breathing is important in that way, but also the movements of breathing actually define your posture. So it connects you to your subconscious habits, but also the muscles of breathing are the same muscles that are involved with upright posture and stability. So it's not like a separation. It's pretty exciting. Just using very simple functional movement positions that we use in everyday life, sitting, bending forward, walking, breathing, is what we're just going to use these methods to try to get back to the primal way that we as humans knew how to move as a toddler. Because if you've ever noticed, all 2- and 3-year-olds, they all have excellent posture. An excellent posture would be your ear lines up with your shoulder and your hip. The rib cage moves easily when you breathe. You usually bend like this instead of like this. There's a relaxed abdomen. There's not a lot of tension, and usually really strong glutes. Babies always have the cutest little butt. What happens though is we get put in chairs about the time we're 5 or 6 years old. And what happens is it undermines these natural systems that are actually built in. Like, we don't have to tell a toddler how to crawl or tell a baby how to breathe. The organism knows what to do. So what happens is, once you get put in a chair, it places the body in what I call a writing, where your thigh winds up perpendicular here. And what happens is the whole backside of the body becomes kind of atrophies, because it holds us up and we don't have to use our back body. It's like a brace. If you ever put a cast on, they don't do it much anymore, but when they take the cast off, the muscles are all atrophied. A lot of us, the back muscles atrophy, and we know that because when aging happens, it's always forward. Nobody comes in here and says, okay, my extensors are getting so strong, go use your back then, healthy. So, but we just take this for granted, like that we're gonna fall forward. They even tell us you're gonna shrink as you get older, and all of this nonsense. And really, if you look at it, it's just the atrophy of the muscles around the rib cage. Because when your knee is at the same level as your hip, it is very hard to breathe with your rib cage. If I bring my knee up here and I try to take a deep breath, can't get my ribs to move. But if I lower my knee down to here, which is what happens when you raise your hips up in the chair, now watch. See, the body doesn't lie. Now I can easily move my ribs. So what happens when we're in a chair in a right angle and we can't move our ribs for hours at a time is we're forced to use what are called the secondary breathing muscles, which are up in the neck here. And so we start leading with these muscles, which tend to be more of the stress response muscles, the fight or flight muscles. Like if we're out hiking and a grizzly bear starts chasing us, I'm going to start breathing up here probably. But we don't want to do that on a regular basis, because it starts to pull the head forward. And then because the body is a continuum, when you breathe like that 15 or 20,000 times a day, the breathing habits are what creating the posture imbalances. And the posture imbalances are inhibiting the breathing. So we have this, chicken or egg thing happening here. What I figured out is you can use these resistance breathing exercises, which we're going to learn. And what that's going to do is take you right into your deep breathing apparatus, which happens to include, of course, your diaphragm, your rib cage muscles, but also your psoas, your pelvic floor, all the way down to the arch of your foot and all the way up into the side of your head are these very important breathing muscles that have been restricted because we've sat in a chair and we've had our knees up here. It's not your fault. It's the chair's fault. Actually, I think we should start having chair burnings. There you go. The other thing is that we're not made of parts. You see this little cow, this is a little toy. If I push on him, he's going to fall over. And that's because all the elastic strings When I let go, they're going to pull evenly. Now, we're made the same way as this little cow. Those elastic strings are kind of like muscle and fascia chains. That's why we can stand on 2 little feet. Do you ever wonder that? How come we don't fall over? Because those strings, those pulleys that run from head to toe, one of them runs all the way through here, diagonally from the side of your head, all the way through the front of your body, all the way to the tops of your toes. That's why if I try to lean over backwards, they're not going to let me fall over. We're not jellyfish, okay? We have tension. You just want to balance it. In the same way, if I keep my knees straight and bend this way, there's a chain that goes all the way from the bottoms of my toes, all the way up to here, all the way into my glutes, all the way up my back, all the way to my eyebrows. And those 2 lines of pull are constantly sort of checking each other, which is why when you start to bend over, this line of pull goes, that's too much for me. But you also have one this way. If we lean this way, I'm not going to fall over because I can feel there's a pulley that runs all along from the side of my foot all the way up into here. And so these pulleys need to be in balanced tension in order for you to be upright and balanced. Now, again, this happens all automatically. But because of chairs, the posterior chain, the one in the back, which once a baby can crawl, once a baby can push his hands against something and turn the back on, you can just try to act like you're pushing something. You feel your back turn on, right? Once that turns on, the baby can start crawling and then standing up, because when the baby's born, of course, he comes out all folded up with the flexors dominant. The front of the body is dominant, right? You got to hold their head up and stuff. So once the nerves develop, then the baby can do that. So what we're going to do is just use specific breathing exercises that will turn back on the center of the body, because each of these pulleys has a job. I mean, the main job is to keep you upright and balanced during movement, but also if I do want to bend this way, I have to involve the muscles in the front of the body. Or if I want to extend, if I want to go this way, I have to contract my back and relax the front, right? That kind of stuff. We have something called Tensegrity. And this little model shows it. The dowels represent your bones. The elastic represents your muscles and your fascia. Your bones don't hold you up, okay? They're spacers. What holds you up is this balance of tension. And that's what we're going to do here. So the body undulates as you move. It's supposed to. If he feels this model, and he'll feel how nice and bouncy it is when he presses on each side like this. But if I say, oh, my back feels tight, I'm going to stretch it. Now watch what happens when I stretch a side. Yeah. See how the whole structure is affected when you try to pull on a part. Or seemingly someone says, oh, you've got too much lumbar lordosis. Keep your belly pulled in. And see how the whole structure is affected. In this class, we are not going to try to control the body by holding things in or stretching things out, because it doesn't work. When you try to pull on things, there's tendon organs and different structures in your body that are trying to protect you, and usually you're just turning on reflexes. We're going to use pendiculation, which is very different than stretching, and it's what a 2-day-old baby does. They wake up and they yawn, and that's a natural reset. That's what humans do. But this kind of stuff, trying to pull on things, we don't need to do that. And we've really taxed ourselves with this idea, oh, we got to stretch. But the thing is, the tension that you feel in your back is from the collapsed breathing apparatus, and you usually flexor dominant. Go to the gym and you do all these exercises trying to make the flexor chain shorter. And then back here, it doesn't like it. Pulling on it or trying to isolate parts of your body and trying to strengthen this and that, you're digging a hole in the sand. But the thing is, don't believe me, once you try do some of these exercises, it'll become very apparent, because your body is pretty smart. It's been around for several million years. Somebody's running the show when you're asleep. Someone's feeding your heart. There's a lot going on that involves a lot of intelligence. And so basically, we're just driving this car around, but we're not making it go. It's going to give you better tools to take care of your vehicle, and then let the biointelligence do the rest. You don't have to stretch, but you do need to restore the breathing apparatus. And that's what we're going to do. And it's real simple. The most fun part about this work, or play, I prefer to call it, is that anyone can do it. Anyone can change their patterns, their physical ways they learn to habitually move, even though it's subconscious. Because constantly we're being told, you see these podcasts, you see these cool things on TikTok about, oh, the human body, we're just vibrating light particles, and 99% of it atom is space, right? Okay, so if that's true, then why can't we change the physical real quick? Just by changing the codes. So basically, I'm going to show you how to hack in to your posture computer. The biointelligence is real smart because normally when you're asleep at night after doing these exercises, it's like a silent secretary, like let's get rid of that file. Your biointelligence is going to work with you because basically this is about changing your brain or getting your brain back to your primal movement patterns. It's a lot of fun and very fast, which is what I think is one of the hallmarks of it. Doesn't take a lot of time, even though you might have been in pain for years. This idea, I've been in pain for 5 years, it's going to take at least 2 years. I mean, just let go of that. It can feel dense when we're out of alignment. Muscles are tense, joints are compressed. But once you use your breathing to get back in alignment, I call it getting the kid body back. You're floating. Your joints are like, thank you. And then your brain can stop making pain. Pain is an output, it's not an input. Pain is your brain saying, you got to change position. And the thing is, I'm a body worker. I've been a body worker now for over 35 years. And massage is great, but it's not going to change the way you move. So we will be using massage, but it's going to be in a different way than you might be used to. We're going to massage muscles while they're contracted, because then we're going to involve the motor strip and the sensory nerves. The sensory nerves, when you touch, tell your brain about location, but we want the motor nerves to fire at the same time. And this is where some really cool stuff happens. Because passive massage is wonderful, puts you in a relaxation state, but it's not going to change the way you move. Do you know why the chicken went to the seance? To get to the other side. What happened when you laugh? We're also going to use something called the isometric relaxation response. Did you hear about the dyslexic devil worshiper? He sold his soul to Santa. But when you laugh, your belly got tighter than normal, right? And you go, oh, that's really funny. Why do farts smell so deaf people can enjoy them too? So the laugh, this gets tighter. But then what happens? Doesn't it relax more after you tighten it? You don't laugh and stay there, right? I'll go, ha, ha, ha. So what happens is there's a reset. But the laughter is like a pendiculation of your torso muscles and stuff. So we're going to use that. Instead of trying to pull on tissues, we're going to tighten things to get them to relax. But that's going to make them strong at the same time. So it's going to turn a lot of things that you believed about fitness and stretching. It's going to kind of turn it upside down a bit. Question it, and then we'll have fun with it. It's a journey into understanding your subconscious a little bit more too. But we have to change the way this posture happens automatically, and in order to do that, we need to use the movements of breathing, and it's actually quite simple. I hope you're inspired to try it. I'm always here for support if you need my help. Allah.